Moses, I wouldn't give Buhari any pass mark.
Any?
At all, because he didn't merit it. Let us call a spade a spade. My Bible says you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Even when he was alive, we are criticizing him for what he did. So coming now that he's late to come and be, painting a glory picture, the person would just look like a fool. Because all he did in office is very clear to everybody. Even under the military that he claimed to bring war against indiscipline, there was no discipline. Because we know what transpired under his watch, and that was why his fellow brothers, Babangida, removed him from office. So, let somebody come and tell me one single thing.
For the benefit of those Nigerians who are younger and may not have been aware, can you tell us some of those things that transpired? Because we're educating people now.
When Buhari came in as a military head of state, he came in with the mantra of war against indiscipline and was mesmerizing everybody with his no-nonsense stand, no corruption, no integrity and all that. So, people bought it. Before we can say Jack Robinson, he started doing a different thing entirely. For example, when he changed the currency, when he changed the currency to curb corruption, all of a sudden, 52 suitcases, were brought in from, I think, Saudi Arabia or so, or one of these Western world. And the thing landed at our airport. Nobody cleared. It was his ADC, Jokolo, who is now the Emir of Gwandu, that cleared those things expressly without any custom investigation. It was later we learned that those things were cash. Under his watch, that happened. Then under his watch, his second in command.
So could it be that the man himself was, pious, but those around him were the ones perpetrating some of these things? Because the reason, sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The reason I say that is, I don't know if you've read the reviews to the book just published by Garba Shehu, where he talked about how Buhari turned down, how he rejected 10 million naira budgeted for food. He said, look, why are we going to spend 10 million naira on food? And he opted for bean cake and pap. Basically, Ogi and Akara.
Oh God!
That was the kind of person he was. He would rather have such a simple meal than allow the nation to spend 10 million on food.
You see, these are part of the thing I personally do not like about Buhari. I'm telling you, he ruled Nigeria with deceit, high-level deceit. He will appear in the public like somebody who doesn't do this, who doesn't do that. But Moses, you and I saw what came out from CBN when Tinubu instituted a panel to probe what happened. You saw, the man even came out and told us that yes, so everything Emefiele did, I ordered it to.
But has it been proven that the signatures there were signed by him?
You didn't hear me. You didn't hear this one I said, Abi. The man said that whatever Emefiele did, that he ordered it.
Barrister, if we're to point to that the direction of the former president of Nigeria, then why then is it that the incumbent, or rather the present administration or the present president, decided to handle the issue of the ways and means without bringing him in? Because we've not heard anything about anybody going after him, arresting him, or calling him for questioning.
Look, over the years, Buhari was the luckiest president in the history of Nigeria. All his infractions, all his atrocities, all his corruption were just buried. It was never highlighted. Going from the time of Shagari, what Buhari did at an NPC when he was the first chairman of that institution, nobody talked about it till today. The $2.8 billion that disappeared under his watch. Nobody.
So you don't think that was because he was not involved directly, Barrister? Don't you think that was because he was not involved directly in that? Because we've seen people who happens to be military head of state too in Nigeria still alive. They wrote books, and you know how they were, how they was aware in the words in that particular book that they have. I'm talking about Olusegun Obasanjo wrote his own book. IBB also have his own book at this point in time, and some other Nigerians also. And they weren't able, rather, they didn't call him or pinpoint any particular crime to this particular man we're talking about.
Did you hear what I said? I said he is the luckiest person.
How lucky can Nigerian be when he gets a book review and written?
Hold on. Buhari had this tendency of being, what do I call it? Unforgiving. Just like his fellow Fulani brothers. He has this heart. He will appear in public like a very quiet, harmless person. But you don't meddle with him. So people know him for that, even in the military. That's why nobody wants to expose what he did. Let me tell you a very typical example. When Obasanjo came into office and wanted to probe PTF, which Buhari headed, Buhari warned him not to try that. But Obasanjo went ahead. On the 7th of July, 1999, when Obasanjo set up that panel to probe because he received a lot of petition against Buhari. Meanwhile, the sole consultant for all the projects under PTF, under Buhari, was somebody related to him by marriage, a man. When Obasanjo set up that panel, the day that consultant was supposed to come and testify against Buhari, because he had all the document, everything, he slumped and died. That was the end of that panel probe. That was the end. Then when Buhari now came into office in 2015, one of the things he did was to compensate the son of that consultant, a 12th level officer in the civil service, with the appointment of managing director of rural education and other. And people say, what experience does that boy have to be given such a position? Is that not compensation? So all the people, go and check, all the people that they were always covering him, making him look good, so that he will, he will appear like a saint. So
are you saying that now that he's no more, we're going to see, people coming up to say things about him?
Of course. Like now, Garba Shehu, during the launch of his book, didn't you hear what he said? That rat story was made up to divert people's attention from Buhari's sickness. You can imagine. That he invented that rat story, that rat invaded his office. That's why he was operating from the house. Meanwhile, the real story is that when the National Assembly discovered that this man is no longer capable, they wanted to introduce the doctrine of necessity. Something they did for Yaradua. And because the North doesn't want that, they packaged him immediately and brought him back.
All right.
You see what I'm saying?
All right.
They now covered it.